Happy late Sunday, everybody. I'm coming at you with this special episode of this Double or Nothing instant reaction review. And without further ado, I'm going to go through my 8 and 4 correct and incorrect prediction that now we get to go through all of them. And then tomorrow I'm going to go through each match detail, but we just want to get my instant reaction one by one. So let's start it. We go from the buy-in show and we start with the first match being a what I predicted would be the 5 minute challenge for the AEW tag team champions. I know it's late night, everybody. Women's tag team champions, let me correct that. And like I predicted, it would be somewhere in between the 4 and 5 minutes that these ladies would last with the rightful and dominant team that they are in Divine Dominion, Lana Cross, and Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne gets the pin over Zeta Steel with like 16 seconds left to spare, and then they destroyed Zeta Steel and Vita Van, and Christopher Daniels got some too. That was hilarious. And then I got predicted, well, there you are, and still well, it wasn't even for the titles. They're just standing alone. Why they are still the champions. And like I predicted, we got Ty Mello making their return, or Anna Mello, or Ty J, whatever. All I know is I thought these women were going to have this match on the card tonight, and instead they got to build up to it. So we'll see when they actually have it eventually. And now we go from that to I thought this would be the match that would lead us into the main card, but instead the celebrity matches, which I have no objections to. All I know is just like the match before, I called this match exactly like it was, and the Death Riders won because of the rivalry that's already established between Will Ospreay and Samoa Joe leading into the main card. I just thought the momentum being with Will Ospreay, who I predicted was going to win tonight, and just like that, knowing this match would take place first, leading momentum for him, got the job done. And Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Daniel Garcia got it done with Marina Shafir in their corner. And unfortunately, like I predicted, Pac was not on the show at all. And I think that's a little. He is the one that did get a AEW World Championship match at the Fairway to Hell event 2 weeks ago. So I'll give him that. All right, then we get to the. So I figured this out. It is making his return back from like being one of the he's not an original, but he's from like the first year or two of AEW when they started, and especially during the pandemic. Anthony Agogo, and he's teaming with Shane Taylor, Carly Bravo, Sean Dean, Lee Moriarty, the only champion, because I just found out recently that Shane Taylor and his two affiliates, Carly Bravo and Sean Dean, lost the Ring of Honor Trios Championship to Dalton Castle and the Outrunners. And the only person on their team that had a championship is Lee Moriarty. And like I predicted, Big Justice, or not Big Justice, but AJ Boone with Big Justice and the Rizzler in his corner gets it done. He is undefeated, I believe, in all of his matches since he has done pay-per-view matches with AEW. And this time he took a lot of blood. Like, look at that. But tough, man. I think this match was kind of, it was a little hokey, but still, I'm going to go through it tomorrow. And congratulations. And that's 3-0 for my buy-in prediction. And then we get to my four incorrect predictions. And I believe I went five. So I went 5-4 during the main card. With that being said, let's get started. Wait, before we do, though, we had to have Mick Foley give us a last appearance before we get to the main card. And when he did, MJF delivers the low blow right in front of the New York crowd, gets the crowd to boo him immediately. And then Darby Allin runs out to save. We get in a great promo from Mick Foley before we get into the main card portion. And it's like, that is why I feel like WWE should have paid him a lifelong contract. You don't let a guy like that go. Because even if he's in his 60s and 70s going forward, he's still a treasure in the pro wrestling world. Now, this I thought was going to be the second match, and I thought that Okada versus Takeshita would be the first match. Apparently, I got that wrong, but again, to me, it makes more sense that this match was first, and then Okada and Takeshita follow them. Then Okada and Takeshita go first, and then uh, Cage and Cope and FTR have to follow them afterwards. what I saw in this match, you could have absolutely done it. It was amazing. Like I predicted, we got the first time in 25 years, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are tag team champions again, even though Adam Copeland has won tag team championships with like five different tag team partners. Christian Cage, I think he's won. I don't think he's actually won another tag team championship with anybody else other than with Christian. I mean, with Adam. And with that being said, I called it 4-0 going forward. Congratulations. When I break this down more detailed, it was amazing. The return of Beth Phoenix as well. I should have put that in this presentation, but all in all, great job and great match. And then to follow that was this match, which I was so hyped for. The crowd was hyped for it. This match was 5 stars at least. It could be 5.5. And I got this match wrong. And new international champion Takeshita, which to me, this part makes sense. We got the return of Kyle Fletcher, who I thought just a month ago had to forfeit and vacate the TNT Championship, which is what Kevin the Jet Knight is now holding. And now I thought he was going to be out until next year's Grand Slam, just like Tony Storm. But no, he's back, delivered a brainbuster and a backstabbing clothesline to Takeshita, making us believe he was siding with him instead of with Okada. But no, now this makes more sense to me. I believe Okada, like I predicted before. I thought with the absence of Fletcher, it would make sense that he would hold on to the championship with the momentum of beating Takeshita and then would challenge for the AEW World Championship later on in the future Dynamite main events. But I guess my entire prediction on this card is going to have to change with how we saw with the main event go. But we'll get there eventually. But to me, this makes sense that we'll see a international championship rivalry between Fletcher. Now, I guess because before we saw this move by Kyle, Fletcher and Okada both grabbed the international championship, but it's held by Takeshita. And we might see a triple threat match going forward, but we still have Forbidden Door, and that might be another, rivalry that we'll see him ignite since Takeshita was the former New Japan or IWGP World Champion just a few months ago. And I think being the international champion, he means he will defend it against somebody from New Japan, but we'll see. Now we go to another one of mine. So I start the main card very poorly, the first two matches. I thought that Mina Shirakawa was going to, for me, go all the way and win the whole Owen. I think with this victory for Athena, how do I put this? I think Mina, in my opinion, has been busting her, you know what, every single week. The most consistent performer week to week that I've seen this year in 2026 for AEW Women's Division. With the absence of Willow Nightingale leaving the TBS Championship vacant, I think this moves it forward for Mina to take that championship and have her, face of TBS reign as long as it lasts until we get the return of who knows who's coming back soon. But for now, I think that's where we're going. And great congratulations to Athena, the 1,270 something day plus Ring of Honor Forever champion. Now we go to this match. I thought this was going to be the co-main event, but no, it turned out the um, Stadium Stampede is going to be the co-main events, and we'll get to that eventually. But just like I predicted, I needed this match to get myself back on the right track. Jon Moxley forces the tap out, not firm a bulldog choke. I will get that wrong. I will call that out. Uses Kyle O'Reilly's own move against him and makes him tap out to the ankle lock. And then after the match, they shake hands and embrace. That was great sportsmanship. The full circle coming of bad guy to, hey, we're just hard wrestlers who just want to push the roster to be the best they can be has kind of come full circle in this moment you see right here with Kyle O'Reilly shaking the hand of his rival that put him on the shelf for 6 months last year, and they tore the house down in Louis Armstrong Stadium in front of 15,000 people. We go from that to the quarterfinals of the Owen Hart tournament, and this one, unlike the women's tournament, I got right. I also called and predicted that I would see a Styles clash from Will Ospreay to Samoa Joe, and we did. And Will Ospreay wins the match from a hidden blade. Called it. I thought it was like, was he going to tap out Joe with his new death ground submission hold? Wasn't feeling it, in my opinion. It was threatening, but this match was phenomenal, just like every pay-per-view match. Will Ospreay, he delivers, and he moves on to the semifinals to await the winner of Mark Davis, and Jack Perry. Now we go to the last Owen Hart quarterfinal match we'll have on this card. Swerve Strickland versus Bandito. Dude, I forgot. Like, I know I'm going to say this and it sounds bad. We all forgot how strong Bandito is. That man is ridiculous. But Swerve Strickland is still that dude, like I predicted. I got all the men's quarterfinal matches during this card right. Swerve Strickland gets it done from a house call kick. In my opinion, I love all of his other finishing moves, the swerve start and the big pressure, but that house call, that is how you end matches, and that's how we got the 1, 2, 3. Now we go to this was, in my opinion, my best prediction because I had no way of knowing which way to go with it. I went with the safest bet, ladies and gentlemen, and still your AEW Women's World Champion, Tekla, the Toxic Spider, gets it done. No return. No one else made an appearance. No one else made a surprise entrance. Nope. It was just straight up 1, 2, 3. Well, kind of with the implications of no disqualifications and Sheeta backstabbed Statlander like we all predicted with the kendo stick. And taking advantage of it is Tekla, and then we'll get to more details of it tomorrow. But that is my best prediction of this card, and I'm glad I did because the next two are my incorrect predictions. Yes, the Stadium Stampede that I thought we were going to get Andrade, we were going to put him over and he was going to get the fall, but no, it was Chris Jericho getting it. Chris Jericho gets the fall as he gets the line saw to Bishop Kong, ironically. But here's a couple of odd spots. We saw a food fight in the back with Andrade getting Satnam Singh's face shoved in his food. A surprise appearance from Leo Rush, who reunited with Bobby Lashley. Shout out. Chris Jericho on the top of the rope after everyone had already did their dives. And like, I'll do mine. And they had some cool ring attire, I'll admit that. And lastly, the bottom right is a shopping cart with Clark Connor, the trash can over his head with Matt Jackson leading it down the ramp, leading to Nick Jackson super kicking him in the face. God, that was a great spot. And yes, like I said, they gave the match to Chris Jericho. He did the line salt to Bishop Kong. And to the man that I thought was going to go over, he took the most insane one-winged angel off the ring apron to the table outside of the ring from Kenny Omega I've ever seen. And yes, another shout out from Chris Jericho did a splash from the top rope to the outside of the ring on a table that didn't break. And then after the match, he jumps off the steps onto the table, breaks it, and pays homage to the late, great Sabu. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. And this one, I knew going into my predictions yesterday that I was a little nervous about it, but yep, I will take the bullet of it and say I was wrong. And MJF is your new AEW World Champion and his third reign before he even turns 30. He joins The Rock, John Cena, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, all the greats that are being recognized today. He puts his name right up there. And right before this match started, we got the comparison of Mick Foley and The Rock to MJF and Darby Allin. And I should have known that might have been a curse because he never had long reigns. None of Mick Foley's reigns could even measure up to what we saw Darby Allin do, but MJF is Dwayne The Rock Johnson for AEW, and that is his third championship reign. He is sneaking up on Jon Moxley to be the most reigning AEW champion of all time. And when he does, he will keep going forward and eclipse him and go to 5, 6, 7. It's only a matter of time. And man, it won't get in the way of that. That didn't make his appearance one way during the show that I didn't see coming was Hangman Adam Page because he will never challenge for the championship ever again. But before this show ended, we got a bet trail from Kevin the Jet Knight, a former Buddy Wayne Academy wrestler who studied after Darby Allin had already came out and became successful and was already been with AEW for the last 7 years. Kevin Knight from last year being the man that wrestled Will Ospreay after Double or Nothing in his losing finals Owen Hart championship match to Hangman Adam Page. From that 1 year ago to be the man who's closing the show at Double or Nothing is pretty impressive. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the review of Double or Nothing Instant Reaction. We'll still get Dynamite this Wednesday in Philadelphia. Potentially, like I said, Roosh said he's going to challenge for the AEW World Champion no matter who wins. MJF may call it off now that he is the world champion, but I think it's going to be a main event with Rush MJF for the world title because there's some history between MJF and Rush when he made his return back after he was in his hiatus, after his first world championship reign from Worlds in 2023. Then he made his return at Double or Nothing 2024, and that might be full circle that they wrestled each other about 2 years ago from the Double or Nothing card in 24 and now will be for the world title, and that's a great story. And now tune in next time for my detailed episode tomorrow, going through each match one by one. Keep grinding, keep loving sports and pro wrestling, and as always, stay